Our next Jurassic difficulty challenge is Katsuyama Containment. This is a 2-hour, 30-minute par time with wild dinosaurs, natural enclosure based. So let's get into it. Alright, looks like we got Uties and maybe Compies. Coelophysis. I see them. Troodons, whatever.
Of course, what I want and reality don't often line up.
What of
and
those?
Getting the best fences here won't be easy. One way or another, we need to contain these dinosaurs and then keep them happy so they stay contained. I really, really want them to stay contained.
Fair, Cabot. Alright, let's see what we're dealing with. Have 48 non-herbivore dinosaurs on site, increased number of guests, total species to 16, and dinosaur visibility, which is a non-issue. Appeal modifiers for Suki, Anki, Aten, Atroci, Pleasy, Dinon, Troodon, Pachycephalosaurus, and Coelophysis. 16 species target on the economy tab. Hey, Rugops, just in time. We're just starting out. Alright. And what we're dealing with is 3 guys here, 3 guys here, 4 there, and 2 over here. Pair of Spinos. These are Pyros, presumably. We've got Troodons, I think, probably. Looks like it. And over here, my Herreras, although it's a very ugly lady Herrera, no offense, but the boys look much better. Then these are the Uties and the trees here. I guess we just go about containing these and go from there. They've given us one starting pit enclosure here. Oh, and this said something like genomes unlocked. Okay, so we don't even do fossils on this? This is insane. So we're just given genome data, and they just say go. That's a choice. That's weird to me. Well, we definitely need a helicopter. We have 3 million, that's pretty standard. That was weird. I was waiting for the game to die there or something. Okay, we have a backup power generator only over there. We can put one over here. One of the wonkiest. Yeah, it's looking a little on the wonky side. I can definitely see that. Do a little bit of science on this map. I mean, we could certainly try. Is this the place for it? What is your science? Okay, we have the glitch there with the big path when you start out. But now it's fixed. This is a somewhat small enclosure, but it should still work for something of decent size. Maybe the Herreras? So I guess we focus on getting what we have here contained and then move on from there. Am I going in the right direction? No. Is it actually... Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, I think it was just the 3. Yeah.
A comfortable dinosaur is one that's significantly easier to manage. Keeping them content should be a priority.
Do fences even matter when you can use terrain and rocks? You need fences to put gates so the cars can get in, but they don't matter that much. Want to know what constitutes a non-herbivore for the purposes of this park? Okay, what is your specific question then? These are breedable, so that's a consideration here. Are you wondering about piscivores? Is that the question? Let's keep this up front. That way it doesn't have to... They don't have to go deep in the enclosure. Let's also take a quick peek at the fence situation. So, 405 meters. It's a limited amount, obviously. We could try fencing in the starting area with the idea that we can then build exhibits off of that and like have the park open. You can actually place gates without fences. Yeah. Well, like, yeah, you could use just a gate and you could put rocks on the sides. Yeah, technically you don't need any fences, but aesthetically, they're combined with fences. I wonder, okay, I'm just going to try this because I'm curious if they give us enough to actually do this. Too close to Troodon. But that is not? Is it inside the perimeter? It is. A problem. Okay, but that works. Okay. So, almost enough. With a little bit tighter arrangement, in particular here, this would work. Actually, yeah, let's keep this in. Then we can do a pit. And we can use this as a moat to, like, keep the dinosaurs from reaching the visitor area while we set stuff up. It works. Hey, Jayski, you haven't missed much. We're just starting out the Japan challenge mode here. Getting Herrerasaurus moved in. And then we're going to get this small initial area set up and secured. So we can start making a little bit of money while we move in other animals. And work from there. Okay, now, did the Troodon? No, they're all outside the fence. So that works. Okay, next. I guess let's get some basic stuff in here. Maybe a shelter like over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, our restroom is now open to use for whenever nature calls.
You don't think wild dinosaurs even considered dangerous? That's also definitely a possibility. An actual city-side map? Yeah, that could be interesting. It might be too complex in terms of decorative elements, especially given the limitations consoles are suffering from. I think I want the UDs next, actually. Let's take a look. They are... That's the Spinos. The UDs are south from here. First Herrera's in, though, so I want to check this. Cover, pasture, water. So they're probably basically good. These should be, what, a medium nest? Alright, let's give them a nest. No, just kidding. Let's look at a nest. I also need, of course, maintenance and some other stuff, but we can start with this. Hard to tell when there's actual genuine... See, that works. Scenery collision disabled. Interesting that actually pops up. Now, do I want to min-max this to the point where they overlap that badly? It feels cheesy. Although you have to overlap because of the weird territory stuff. So, for the nest... we need 4 genetics. I need a control center. I also don't have that. Fair. That's a little less overlapped, at least. Alright, 1 and 4. We got a 4 and a 2. That's the opposite of what I need. So I grab 2 1-2s. Let's look at the cost. 105. This is a 95, but doesn't meet the requirements. 82 1-2. Motivated. 1-2 faster. 1-2 cheaper. Cheaper seems good. Then we'll grab maybe... we could grab the welfare because we'll need to hatch dinosaurs. That might make sense. In which case, then we'd have one more genetics point that we would need. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, we could test like Oviraptor and some other stuff out for sure. Yeah, we could delete the fences and check the Troodon thing, I suppose, but might not bother with that. Logistics is definitely, yeah, logistics is not terribly important. Probably this 82. I wouldn't mind the extra point of welfare. Faster research doesn't seem that important. Let's get the nests. Which I guess makes the welfare person actually entirely redundant, but they'll be good to have later, so whatever. 73%, we're missing just cover. Which they do have, they just need to, you know, move in. Get to it.
You are one motivated worker. You either love dinosaurs,
All right.
profits, or impressing me. Wait, don't say which. I'll believe what I want to believe.
I lost my orientation again. No, I want to go the opposite direction. The fuck? How did I end up here? Okay, but it's mostly right. All they need to do is put compass directions on the little thing on the top. Like it should have north, south, east, west markers. If I were to have a lagoon animal, which one would I want the most? I don't know. Lagoons are really bad. Especially after we learn the stuff about the attractions. Is this guy... Can I not get a clear shot because he's in the woods? Is that actually what is obstructing this shit? Or maybe it was just the angle. You can do it. Take her down. Is it locked onto one of the other ones? I think it is. I was assuming it wouldn't lock onto a downed one. Oops. Ah, it's way over here. Okay, well, let's get this open while I'm out in this menu. Alright, so these guys are happy and settled in. We have completed the research for the nests. Let's get the medium nest in here. Alright, now we'll get that other UD sedated. Get a enclosure put in for him. Okay. Sorry, I keep hitting escape. I can just mash escape to get back out of that, and that's not really optimal. You the only one who uses the basic boxer buildings? Yeah, I really don't use the basic boxes. Aesthetically, not a huge fan of what they changed. Well, they might have different, you know, levels of darts available. They might not be, strictly speaking, the same dart that they use on a Compy versus a U-Tyrannus. I probably want to leave the gap there. Currently no guests. They haven't really registered yet that this park is open. So I think the optimal thing to do would be to just kind of build off of the existing enclosures. So we got this whole area up here that's cleared already. Let's do this. Let's just build from this gap. We can put it in here, kinda. We can actually have, like, a deliberate moat. We can keep this kind of weird moat thing we've made in here. We can do this like this, I suppose. This path is one of the cobblestones or something. Yeah, this one. Something like that. We can also maybe just delete this bit. Okay, well, there we go. We got a little pit. Now, this is a park era fence. Okay, these fences do correctly update. They don't think they're the same fence. Now, I wonder if the Jeep can even get in here if we put this gate here. This is a pretty close gap, but I'll give it a try. We might have to rebuild this at some point. Upside of these natural enclosures is they readily can be expanded to move more animals into them. You just flatten them out backwards, like, pretty convenient. Hey Mudo, welcome to the stream. Let's do multi-select, grab the Tyrannuses, finalizing, and dumping. Getting a goat feeder in there. We could, move this section here, this moat, sort of back more and, like, put another exhibit here. Okay, the car can get in there. That's great. Alright, let's get the next area ready. Something over here. This could be the Trodons, potentially. Why did this build so weird? Why did the slope stop being sloped when it got to this side? Yeah, what is this? What is there a Trodon here? Yeah. So it's accommodating for this Trodon's pathfinding by not making that a cliff. Yeah, the first DLC should be announced pretty soon, next week. Likely. The teasers are out on the website. There's a little ARG type puzzle. I need this Trodon to fucking leave, so I can finish this hill. Like, why is he the only one that's standing here? His friends all left and went down south. Okay, Uteranus check. 3 comfort issues. Pasture, prey. I put a goat feeder in, but I did not put them in a way that was optimal for the actual feeder placement. Why does clicking the button sometimes just not register? This has happened in a lot, actually. Okay, these are presumably large nest? Medium nest? Large nest. Alright, Uteranus nest. We did have a male, right? Yeah, female, male. Okay, Uties are in. Let's get this Trodon sedated. So that we can fix that next exhibit area. Okay, whoops. Too many escapes again. Get used to it. It's going to happen a lot if I have to manually control the helicopters to capture every dinosaur. Okay, now we can get the cliff back in. So, if I keep this section of fence here, it's maybe a little bit too much. Scientifically accurate Trodon could be cool for sure. At what point... I guess, okay, that needs to... Yeah, I suppose we do it like this. We do this flat. How did they do it here? Yeah, these are decorative rocks, right? Yeah. This is still being weird. I guess that Trodon is still a little too close. That's fine. Give me rock. Now. Well, that's a big rock, alright. I was gonna say, which rock do we need for this? I mean, I could just do that. This seems fine. Aesthetically, this front fence is the wrong type. We'll fix it. Let's get a viewing gallery in here. It's a little cramped. I could move it back a little bit more away from that path. Paleoaccurate Dilo Velociraptor variants. Yeah, we could see something like that maybe. I don't think it's terribly likely, but it's possible. There's also the, you know, we could get something like a Dracovenator or something for like a Paleoaccurate Dilophosaurus. Let's do this. Okay, it's kind of behind the rock, but I think it'll function. It's good enough. You little so-and-so. I know you can get to that spot. I know you can do it. I could also just put in, like, you know, a rock and leave a gap. Honestly, this is probably already fine. I could move it back slightly further or change the angle. But I could do that. This is a little nitpicky, for sure. But welcome to the stream. Yeah, this. Perfect. Okay, yeah, I like that better. Now we put the gallery in. Gallery goes here. That was crooked for some reason because it hates me. There we go. Alright, so we got one sedated Troodon, the other three over here by this lake. I guess we're doing these guys next. How are we doing on money? We are, in fact, making some. I think that's going to be optimal. Just leave that as books. Hey, MG Gaming, how do you collect all the dinosaurs in the game? Not sure what your question means exactly. You just, you know, if you're in Sandbox, if you're playing with fossils enabled, you just got to dig them all up. If you don't play with fossils enabled, you can use everything. If you're talking about how you get every animal in challenge mode, you can't. Only some of them are available in any given challenge mode. Now that's a tight gap. I may not want to use that spot. We have this spot back here, and then we could expand back this way. I might do that. So if we do a nice little path here that we can align with kind of the side of this, right about like that, and then put in a nice little aesthetic curve, and then just run this back further like this, somewhere. We can build some more stuff back here off of that, expand in that direction. And we can eventually probably expand through this gap here too, along like this kind of moat that we've kind of built here actually. Or like we could flatten this level out like that so that we can come around here. Yeah, this is challenge mode. We're not doing random dinosaur fights. We literally can't do that. It's not even part of the mode. Like this game mode does not have Tyrannosaurus, and it does not have an Indo. You're SOL. So we're looking for green and white, and green and yellow. Okay. Could have maybe put this over here on this side, but it's also probably not a big deal. All right, let's get those other Troodons. Yeah, Hyperloop could be good here too. As a way to expand out a little bit. Okay, I think they were in the middle now, kind of. Let's do some recon. They are directly ahead of me. And now I cannot take control of the helicopter directly because the UI glitched. Again. I have to go all the way back here. Okay, it's actually not even on this. There we go. Weird. It just took a moment to pop up. Very strange. This game mode literally does not have Tyrannosaurus Rex in it. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. We're doing a challenge mode. It's a limited roster by design. It's part of the game. Obviously, Tyrannosaurus is in the game. I never said it wasn't in the game. I said it's not in this game mode. I have some plans for modular building, but not like right now. Alright, that's the Troodons. So, we have 4 of these. They go in this new enclosure. Let's get some water and food set up. Are these meat or goat? I don't know because I don't have comfort data. They're goat, right? It's the Proceratosaurus that are meat, I'm pretty sure. It's like a 50-50 anyway, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let's get a gate in here. We can put it on this side. Maybe. Yes. Alright. And a ranger station. We'll slap Team 1 on this.
Heading to pick up the asset.
We're getting reports that some of the animals are experiencing heightened levels of stress. If the dinosaurs are on edge, it's only a matter of time until our guests are too. Let's get this under control.
Shut up. What is your problem? Everybody's happy. You're wrong. 100% on these guys. I mean, it's literally the Troodons that are unhappy. He's talking about this sedated ones. Deinonychus is meat? That's weird. That's a weird choice. Okay, we have access to medium amenity. We probably do want mediums, but I don't have the points. Actually, that was the logistical consideration, right? If we want to do power, we need 7. Honestly, we don't need power. All right, you can leave MT Gaming. You can go somewhere else. You don't need to be here. Core upgrades is 3. Yeah, if we only do 3 logistics, we can do staff center, and then we can just live without power because it doesn't really matter. Faster, generalist, or motivated. Motivated's cheap, so is faster. But so is this faster. We'll take this cheapest one. We'll probably need the genetics anyway. Alright, let's do the amenities. Alright, 1 second. Alright. One 24-hour ban later, we're back.
Asset transportation underway. Asset being
We should get a hotel in. Which is... Yeah, we don't have a large available, so we just put in a small somewhere. It's a little big. It's a little on the big side. We could just take down the fence. You know, we discussed, does this matter? We'll find out if it matters because deleted. Right about like that. The generator isn't crooked, but, you know, what are you going to do? All right.
And gentlemen, for your comfort, we've increased the hotel capacity.
We need comfort data. Let's get a ranger team on this immediately, please. %. We are missing pasture. We have excess cover. Once again, clicking the button didn't actually work.
Delivery complete.
Okay, so these guys, we've got female and one male. Let's get a nest in. We are looking at small or medium. I never can guess. This is a small nest. Yeah, the medium, like, the amenity scaling is definitely weird, but whatever. It's fine. Okay, Trodons are good. Next, we got Pyros. Sorry, are there 5 Pyros? There are. Pyros and Spinos. Let's build another exhibit off this way. We will do once more flattened terrain. We've got kind of a whole spot there we could use. This could be Spinos. This is a pretty big area. Like if we just flatten this back over to here. Okay, we got a spot around there we could still expand to. That should be a pretty good size. Let's do smaller radius. Let's get down here in this little canyon thing we've started and make a bigger moat. Claim a little bit of space here. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's run this all the way to the cliff edge, right? And then we cut across like this. We put in the gallery. On this side, the fence is right about there. Alright, there's our Spino enclosure. Okay, let's get the Spinos. They are there. Means we fly past the Trodon enclosure and north, and we should be able to find them. Oops. Take the shot. Yeah, lock-on is a little weird. Just like the lack of feedback when you're like out of range is very strange. Did we get the other one? Did the other one actually go down? No. Thought we shot it twice, but clearly not. Unironically, a donkey would be fine if it was a new food type, because I'm a big proponent of expanding the feeder system to new diet types. And that includes not just the pterosaur video that I did, but also would be happy to see cow feeders and pig feeders and stuff. So you know what? If you want to add a jackass feeder, that's fine too. Alright, we'll drop one on each side. Get a post, get me a ranger team,
Understood.
get me a path.
Asset being transported.
Alright, there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new
We can flatten this out a little bit for the path there. There's already a cliff edge, so we're just like using the cliff edge more.
Asset delivered.
Piece of cake.
Delivery complete.
Alright, ranger team, please give me a status info. Let's get them both moving just to make sure somebody gets here soon. Wide path research available. That's a 5 logistic. Let's do... Actually, yeah, let's do this. We need to get the rest of our infrastructure in here. We've been dawdling on that. So, we need a maintenance facility and a medical facility. Medical doesn't have much space available, so I think we'll put it like here. Actually, maybe more by the cliff edge, and then the path can sneak through there. Maybe. I'm not sure I'm going to build much further down, honestly. But I can't get it within range of power anyway, so I guess we'll do it like this. Backup generator on the gate is not a bad idea anyway. You don't mind this park having an herbivore, right? Yeah, I don't mind having an herbivore. We can do a little bit of experimentation at some point. I just want to make sure we get this, established and underway before we get weird with it. Let's get a maintenance facility. I think the maintenance facility, yeah, being small, can fit here. And then post for maintenance. Everything covered? Looks like it. All right. Need status info on these Spinos. At least one of them. Okay, missing wetland. Missing wetland, only missing wetland. We got swamp, bog, marsh. We need pasture. So cover would be just detrimental. So it's that's what it is. They are like kind of minimalist amount of deep water, so wouldn't hurt to expand this back a little further. Okay, and then do we have a breeding pair? We have a male, we have a female. These are presumably large nests, but it doesn't hurt to check. Okay, large nest time. Large nest in the back somewhere. There we go. hidden from guests. Was it good? I think it was good. Yeah, I mean, it's got a green. So. Okay, at some point we'll need to prop up visibility, but honestly, it's challenge mode. It might not even matter. Okay, next, Pyroraptors. I'm thinking we go this way with everything. Let's delete this. Yep, there we go. I'm gonna re-flatten this out a little bit because it's kind of a little bit more of a gully than I need, and we'll push this back to the edge there. Well, we could have this be like a down ramp, essentially. Rather than like flatten this out everywhere. We could also put stuff up on these hills, because we can also flatten these to be a ramp on the intervening side here, which isn't a bad idea. It'll help improve visibility later. I'm going to delete this section of path. That path goes nowhere. Okay, well anyway, let's get the next enclosure off of this one. Same strategy. I could make it long and narrow, or I could just put it back like this, maybe. Stop it about here. Transport rating's going to be a bit shit, but, like, that's fine. That one seems like it went up enough that it doesn't even need a rock. Look, you can see underneath the fence. Weird. Very strange. Yeah, terraforming costs is something we'll have to look into for modding, probably. I mean, there's so much stuff we need to look into for modding. We could talk for hours, I think, about speculating on ways to, like, fix the difficulty of challenge mode, but ultimately it's going to take probably a few iterations of playing around with, like, different ideas until we find something that kind of works. That is an enormous rock. Kind of weird, but whatever. It works. You can actually essentially clip it to the viewing gallery, too. The wrong color, but, like, the rock label is a small little thing that shows up at the top. Like, the rock, like, here, complaint, UI complaint, right? When I am looking at a small square on the screen here in the middle, I shouldn't have to look up at the top to see the label. The label should be next to the mouse cursor for where I'm hovering, because that's where my eyes are, right? Plesiosaurus has to be coming. Like, there's just no shot it never gets in the game. It would actually be kind of insane if it didn't. If they just almost, in a sense, doubled down on the fact that we just never have gotten it. Let's do a little path nice and aligned with the side of this guy. And we'll curve it in over here to connect in a way that looks somewhat deliberate, or we won't because it'll be weird and never angled very well. We'll do it like that. It would be fun to speculate a little bit on what might be coming in the next DLC. I'm a believer. I'm a Swamp DLC believer. I'm a Swamp truther. But it's hard to predict what a Swamp DLC would bring for animals. Semi-aquatics, obviously, like a croc. It would be a great time to introduce a croc if they do a Swamp DLC. But beyond that, Dino Kairos obviously fitting the vibe. Like, what else could it possibly bring? Let's get those pyros. I want to get them encased before we end this starting episode. And then episode 2 is just spam animals. It's literally... not even a problem. Oh, we're still losing money. Are we losing money consistently? No, we're gaining money. I just saw it tick down once, so I was like, oh, we're cooked, but no. Yeah, a Spinosaurid is the big obvious one. Like, Irritator time. You give, like, a Spinosaurid, a croc of some kind, or a Crocodilomorph. I would prefer a Crocodilomorph, something like from, like, the Triassic, over, like, Parasaurus or something.
This one feels like it's straight out of
Stop
legend.
locking onto the one we've
This.
already
A
sedated.
forest fire sweeps through southern France, and what's found in the aftermath? The first discovered remains of a pyroraptor. One heck of an origin story, right? And one
It's almost
heck of a
like
dinosaur.
that's why it's called
Glad to have it
Pyroraptor.
with us.
Ostra would be good. Yeah. Ostraptor would be a really good shout. It's literally in the code already, partially. So it's been in the code since I think early JWE2. Or maybe like mid JWE2 development. So they could just finish it. It was discovered alongside Stegosaurus, and we did get that eventually. Okay, where the hell's the last one? Where's this last? He's right there. Swap targets by scrolling the mouse wheel. Oh, shit. Fair. Yeah. Okay. That's probably useful. See, this is why it's nice to stream, because then you have somebody else to read all that pesky, annoying text on the screen that the streamer never looks at. I never put anything in this exhibit yet. So we're going to put them all in the front, and then we're going to get the water in the back a little bit. That's a little on the big side, but whatever. Now, these guys are still goat feeder, right? I believe they are goats still, which is dumb. I think they should have made them fish. Just because it leans into the water more, but whatever. Alright. So, now we focus on economy. I think we strip out the existing amenities. Actually, probably can still fit some amenities here. We need white and green. Perfect. 400 out of 800. That's shopping. So, now the next question is, how bad is our... Okay, so this is still covered by that shopping, actually. This one may be too far, but it's possible. Yeah, I would be perfectly content to have multiple food type carnivores. That'd be perfectly fine by me. Having both goat and fish, and then it eats whatever one it feels like eating at a given moment is great. It makes it feel more like a real animal. It's making a choice a little bit. You know, does he want the good dog food, or does he want to eat some, you know, dried turds or something? If it were a dog, I guess, is the analogy I'm trying to make. I could put this here, clipped into that rock. Interesting idea. Except these are smaller, so we can just put them here. Like we discussed earlier. I might as well just put them back in the same spot. Alright, ratings check. So, we need guests. On our economy side, we are at path capacity. That's the thing sinking us right now. Transport's bad, path capacity's bad. Dinosaur welfare is probably actually fine. We did path upgrades. No, sorry, didn't we? Oh, we needed to do logistics first, right? Before you do path upgrades? I think that was the thing. Also, how many times will I click the wrong area? Yeah, 5. And we did research, or the research for the skill points, so we just got to distribute 2. Faster research, I need a staff center. True. Staff center. Can kind of cram it in there, but I don't love that. Probably here is actually a pretty good spot. Okay. So, faster research gets a point for sure, right? Because that is the most useful spot for logistics. And then, motivated, save the cheaper synthesis for a point of genetics, probably. Sorry, I clicked on that one because it was lit up. Paths. Oh, I don't have the money because I just upgraded my staff. True. Fair. Real and true. We should probably do a contract. We have done no contracts. Territory to 6. Or take a photo. Photo, I think. Because that finances it immediately. Job done. Alright, because the second we fix the paths, we make more money. So this is like a priority
Work
research.
is going straight on your permanent record.
Thank
I'm
you,
kidding.
Cabot. I worked
There
very
is no
hard on
permanent record.
whatever.
Not one that's written down, at least.
Rangers, status check me. Whoever can get here first, please. Yeah, we could take photos of everything. It's not a bad idea. It's a great way to make money. Like, quickly, especially.
Great progress so far. And with job satisfaction like this, who needs silly things like
Okay,
workplace
missing
benefits,
cover.
right?
Missing
Still you.
pasture.
Well,
An
can't
area
blame a
in
guy for trying.
general. We have enough of deep water. Okay, I mean, they should be fine, because they have this whole back section. I guess they don't need any non-deep water, too, which is a consideration. Eggs.
The right scenery can have
Herrera's.
a profound effect
Cool.
on an animal's well-being. Let's see just how beneficial it can be to these animals.
Not enough space. Okay, well, that's fine. I can fix that for you. Going to the map edge, literally for aesthetic reasons. It just looks better. With the map edge being behind a raised section rather than being, you know, on a lower level. We can expand this out this way as well. Okay. Well, they'll be happy as soon as they move further out. Eggs and small nesting. Troodon eggs. 4. Right, I want to get these guys finalized, and then we're kind of moving on to phase 2. Yeah, they're probably not. Probably we don't even try to breed these guys, given that they're. Well, there's a little bit of space. Yeah, screw it. Let's give them a nest. Let's just see what happens. That's fine. Okay, everybody's happy. We'll now just tunnel out more animals next time.